I never thought something as simple as a backyard hockey rink would slowly turn my own home into a place I dreaded being at night. My neighbor has a hockey rink in their backyard. On its own, that doesn't bother me too much. Kids need somewhere to play, to burn energy, to be kids. I understand that. What makes it difficult is the noise. The sharp crack of pucks hitting the backboards echoes far more than you'd expect, especially when everything else around you is quiet. Last winter, the kids were sometimes out there late. Really late. I remember one night checking the clock and realizing it was already 12:30 a.m. The sound kept bouncing through my walls, but I stayed quiet. I told myself it wasn't worth creating tension with neighbors. I figured it was temporary, and I didn't want to be seen as the difficult person on the block. So I let it go. This year, when the rink went up again, I expected more of the same. What I didn't expect was the floodlight. A massive, powerful floodlight. It wasn't just pointed at the rink. It was pointed directly toward my house. The first night it came on, my bedroom lit up like a stadium. The light poured straight through the windows, across my walls, into my eyes. Even the living room wasn't spared. It felt less like a neighbor's backyard and more like I was suddenly living next to a sports arena. I tried to tolerate it for a few nights, hoping maybe it was temporary. But night after night, the same thing happened. Bright light, loud pucks, no real darkness to rest in. Eventually, I decided to do what I believed was the most reasonable thing. I walked over and calmly explained the situation. I told them the floodlight was shining directly into my bedroom and living room. I made it clear I wasn't asking them to take the rink down or stop the kids from playing. I just wanted the light adjusted so it wouldn't invade my home every single night. The response I got felt dismissive. I was told the kids were allowed to be out there until 11 p.m. I was told they could maybe move the light a little. But they also said they had the right to keep it on until then. What stuck with me wasn't just what they said. It was how little my concerns seemed to matter. Now I'm left in this strange, uncomfortable space. I don't want conflict. I don't want arguments across fences or awkward silence every time we pass each other. But at the same time, it's hard to accept that my home, the one place I should feel comfortable, is being flooded with light night after night. I keep asking myself where the line is between being patient and being ignored. I've started looking into what options exist that don't involve escalating things unnecessarily.
Simple solution.
Light shields, window coverings, or even checking local guidelines about light pollution. The idea of involving an HOA isn't appealing, but neither is feeling powerless in my own space. What makes it hardest is that this isn't about kids playing hockey. It's about boundaries and respect. About acknowledging that while everyone has rights, those rights shouldn't come at the expense of someone else's peace. I don't want to be that neighbor. I just want quiet, darkness, and the ability to sleep in my own home without feeling like I'm living under stadium lights. And honestly, I don't think that's too much to ask. I dated a guy on and off through high school and later into college. He was my first love. We were each other's first everything, really. What made us feel so connected was our shared sense of humor, strange, quirky, the kind that only makes sense to two people who grew up laughing at the same odd things. When we got to college, that bond felt unbreakable. We got engaged while we were still young. He was a year older than me, and I had one more year of school left. At the time, we were both pretty traditional. Excited about getting married young, building a life together, starting a family early. I spent years collecting bridal magazines, folding down pages, imagining dresses, venues, and a future that felt very clear back then. But during my senior year, something shifted. I started seeing the world differently. I wanted more for myself. I became more curious, more aware, more involved in what was happening around me. I began forming my own opinions instead of borrowing them from the people around me. Around that time, a major election was happening. It sparked a lot of conversations, and for the first time, I realized how differently my fiancé and I viewed responsibility and independence. When he casually explained that he voted a certain way simply because his mother encouraged him to, it hit me hard. It wasn't about politics anymore. It was about realizing we were growing in completely different directions. I'd be lying if I said it didn't hurt. There were moments where I wondered if I had given him the best years of my life, only to walk away empty-handed. While studying for my nursing boards, during late nights filled with stress and uncertainty, I sometimes checked in on how his life was unfolding. Out of simple curiosity, I followed parts of their wedding planning online. It wasn't obsession, just nostalgia, mixed with closure I didn't know I needed. When their gift registry finally went live, I scanned through it absentmindedly. Plates, towels, kitchen gadgets. Nothing felt like him. Until suddenly one item stood out. A welcome mat. It simply said, "Leave." That was it. That was the humor we once shared. Dry, ironic, and completely ridiculous. Without overthinking it, I bought it. I paid in cash. No name. No message. Just that mat. I imagined him seeing it marked as purchased and instantly recognizing the joke. Wondering who would understand that humor well enough to choose that gift. I imagined him waiting for it to appear, smiling to himself about the one silly item that actually felt personal. But it never arrived. Gift after gift was opened, and the mat never showed up. The wedding came and went. Still no mat. A new home. A new beginning. And no place to wipe their feet at the door. Years have passed since then. When I think back on it now, it doesn't feel mean. It feels strangely symbolic. A quiet reminder of a chapter closing, of paths diverging, of two people who once shared something meaningful, but ultimately needed different lives. It was small. It was harmless. And honestly, it still makes me smile. Not because it hurt anyone, but because it marked the moment I truly let go. Before my wife and I even started trying for our first child, we tried to do everything the responsible way. We sat down with both sets of parents and had an honest conversation. We asked if they would be interested in helping watch their future grandkids until preschool started. Nothing extreme, just support during the work week. All 4 grandparents were fully retired. Every single one of them was excited. They smiled, laughed, and said absolutely. The plan was simple. They would trade off weeks, have plenty of notice, and still be free to schedule their own appointments and enjoy retirement. At the time, it felt like we had a village. Then my wife got pregnant, and about 10 weeks after our baby was born, reality showed up. As my wife prepared to transition back to work, her parents sat us down and said they had changed their minds. They wanted to travel more. They wanted to enjoy their elder years. They no longer wanted to commit to helping with childcare. It was disappointing, but we accepted it. What else could we do? My parents stepped in and tried their absolute best to fill the gap. But daily childcare is a lot, especially when both parents are working full-time. So we had to create a complicated schedule just to survive. My parents watched our child on Mondays and Wednesdays. We paid for childcare on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Fridays, my wife and I worked half-days to manage everything, with my parents helping whenever they could.
It was exhausting.
It was expensive. And through all of it, my parents were incredible. What hurt the most wasn't just the lack of help. It was the broken promise. Saying yes, then quietly disappearing when things got real. 6 years passed. In those 6 years, my in-laws never once watched our kids. Not for a day. Not even for a few hours. Life went on. About a week ago, my wife and I bought a house. A huge milestone for our family. While we were unboxing and settling in, her parents came over to see the place. My father-in-law noticed something right away. A first-floor master bedroom, with a full bathroom. He smiled, turned to my mother-in-law, and said, "Oh, thank God. We won't have to deal with stairs." I paused. Then I said quietly, "Come again." That's when my mother-in-law explained it. Out of my wife and her siblings, we were doing the best financially. They were in their 70s. Their house felt like too much for them now, and it would make the most sense for them to live with us. I couldn't stop myself. I laughed out loud, genuinely surprised. And I said, "That will never happen." The room went silent. I explained calmly that when we truly needed help, when we were drowning and exhausted, they chose not to be there. That was their decision. And now we were simply making ours. My wife agreed. She talked about how difficult those years were, how expensive childcare had been, how isolating it felt to have zero support from one side of our family. We weren't angry anymore, just honest. They were hurt, deeply hurt. They couldn't believe what they were hearing. But boundaries aren't punishment. They're consequences. We don't hate them. We're not trying to hurt them. We're just protecting the life we worked so hard to build, without the help we were once promised. So now we're left wondering, were we wrong for standing our ground? Or were we simply matching the energy that was shown to us years ago? What would you have done in our place? If you enjoy real-life Reddit reality stories from the USA, don't forget to like, subscribe, and support the channel. More Reddit reality USA stories coming soon.